Hey, and welcome into the Big Ten Huddle. I'm your host, JR, and we've got a lot to talk about going on in the Big Ten. Welcome into the Big Ten Huddle, where we talk every single Big Ten football team, every episode here with you. Got my guy, Zack Guggenheim, with me once again. It's a Sunday night episode. Zack, the vibes are always good on Sunday nights. People are done with their weekend. They're getting ready for their week, and they just like to hear a little bit of the smooth voice of Zack Guggenheim in their ears. Zack, give it to him.
Wow, smooth. It's like smooth jazz. Like the way you describe my voice.
Yeah,
I'm gonna start putting people to sleep, I think.
yeah. Well, when don't do that. I think we lose listeners if that happens.
That's
So don't
fair.
do
That's
that.
fair. Listen, I was thinking so it was your birthday yesterday, right?
Yes, yes, it was.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Got to go to B Dubs. That was fun.
Okay, top 3 items at B Dubs, right off the bat.
Oh, I like any of the wings with the dry rub.
Dry
I
rub. You're a dry rub guy.
I'm big dry rub guy. I don't like the messy fingers and everything like that. It's just never really been me. So that's not been my kind of style. So dry rub type of guy. And then on top of that, all their sides are so good. Um, but honestly, I think my second item would probably have to be like the chips and nacho cheese.
Oh,
Those
there you
chips
go.
are just really, really good. They got some
They,
good chips there. It's like Chili's. Chili's has the best
yeah.
chips though.
Hmm. I think the side game at B Dubs is maybe like the wings are good, but they're so expensive.
Yeah.
But like I could honestly go through onion rings like
Oh yes, they do have really
nobody's
good onion rings.
with their Southwest Ranch. Oh,
And you know
oh,
what? The slaw, the coleslaw at B Dubs.
ooh.
I was not expecting it to be as good as it was. But I am
Hmm.
normally a swap out the slaw for more fries type of guy.
There you
But
go.
their slaw is lime coleslaw. I was like,
That's
huh, all right, I'll give this a shot. And you know what? I'm not normally a slaw guy, but I liked it. It
that's
was good
good.
stuff. So,
I made sorry, one last comment and then I made my first ever homemade slaw
oh,
for pulled pork and it was a lot
wait,
of
do you put
work
the slaw
actually.
on the sandwich?
Yeah, well,
Okay, North
for
Carolina
this one
style.
I did because of the
Okay,
way I smoked the pork shoulder,
good
and then
man.
it was an apple slaw, and I'd never made it before. I made it for a group of guys who were at a retreat, and I was like, I don't like coleslaw, and I would make that in a heartbeat again. It was fire. I was
Wow,
like, I will, and actually I think I've become more of a coleslaw guy, but yeah,
wow.
I feel like fruity slaws, like a little bit of acid in there. The citrus. Sorry, that sounds bad. A little acid in your slaw, like the acid of the citrus in it. Oh,
Yeah, just put some acid in it. Everything's better with acid, I heard.
I, oh man, I'm never gonna escape. There goes the smooth voice of we've just
Oh, don't worry, don't
shot
worry.
holes through it.
We'll move on. Let's see who we got in the chat here so far. We got Philip says Illinois football commit Taiwan Cox out running a gold medalist. I saw that. That is pretty doggone impressive. We're not going to talk about it on
Mm.
the show, but Zack, did you see that?
I didn't, but now I need to look it up.
I pay more attention to recruiting, I think, than you do.
That's fair.
Yeah,
That's fair.
yeah. But
Well,
yeah, no, that
especially when my wife was away for the weekend and I was on 3 kid duty.
yeah,
So
I was kidless on Saturday night. So you had all the kids. I had none of the kids. It's kind of nice.
you had a little bit more brain space than I did.
A little bit, a little bit. We got Billy Tuesday here. Howdy, hello, Billy Tuesday. Thanks for being here. We appreciate you. And Philip says, "Happy birthday! Do I see gray hair?" Look, Philip, I gotta say, somebody in the comments over on the basketball channel told me to lose the hat. I did a show. I think it was with Sunny, where I didn't wear a hat, or maybe it was with Eric and them. I don't know, one of them. And I didn't have a hat. They said they saw that show and that, so now they say lose the hat. You're better without the hat. So
Hmm.
Zack, our ratings might skyrocket now
Th-
here on
th-
YouTube. Now that I don't have the hat.
There we go. I
So
mean, I think you do have a beautiful full head of hair.
thank you. Is there any gray? Can you see it?
I mean, from Lewisburg to Indiana, it'd be pretty hard to see it. So
I mean,
I
as
don't
long as
see
it's
any.
not on the as long as it's not on the camera, that's fine with me because I basically live on this camera. So
That's fair.
John says, "Good evening, gents. Good evening, John." He says, "Crock pot's lifesaver for large food gatherings." I love me a crock pot, man.
Hmm.
There are some crock pot meals. There's some really terrible crock pot meals, but there's also some really really good ones
Yeah,
that you can get, and then smokers too. Smokers huge for a large food gathering as well.
absolutely.
Philip is a fan of the Nebraska Cornhuskers. They were a champion of the Crown. Zach, did you hear about the Crown basketball tournament?
Very briefly, I saw that Nebraska was in it. I knew that they were in the Final Four of it. I didn't realize that they had got it all the way to the championship game and won.
Yeah,
But good on them.
comeback win over Boise State last night. They were averaging
Mm.
like 90 points a game in the Crown, and then the Huskers hold them to less than 70. And then today they take down UCF. I mean, Connor
Oh,
Esigian, Fred Hoiberg, guys got paid. They got paid. I just want to know
there
how
we
they
go.
split up the money. Like, you know, does one guy score 20 points and he gets, a 20 times multiplier or something like that? I don't know.
Boise is like developing a reputation of just losing to Big Ten teams. Like they lost to Oregon, they lost to Penn State in the playoff, and now they lose to Nebraska in the postseason. So like,
Some might say the Big Ten is just unbeatable. Zach.
mm, yeah,
The Big Ten has not lost to a conference in its current Big Ten teams have not lost to a conference outside of the Big Ten in the playoffs the past 2 seasons.
just don't tell that to the basketball part of the conference.
Zach, why this is a football show? Why would you do
That's
this?
true, but I was referencing that Nebraska beat Boise in basketball. So
Yeah.
sorry, I keep going. It was
Yeah.
a good
Philip
fact. It
says
was a good fact.
ILL, I and I. There we go. I changed the subject there. There you go. John's gonna completely take this over and make it a basketball show if we let him. Don't worry, John. You have 3 white dudes on your team, and Indiana basketball has never been more Indiana basketball than what it is under Darren DeVries. All right,
Oh
let's
man.
get into the football stuff. That's what people are here for. Zach, there are 4 Big Ten freshmen shining in spring practice so far. There was an article put out by Carter Bonds, Bahns. I apologize if I'm saying that wrong. He has named 4 freshmen in the Big Ten, 10 overall, but 4 of them in the Big Ten that are shining. And long behold, number 1, the one that I predicted would be starting at Michigan, game 1, is Bryce Underwood. Zach,
Mm.
the people cannot get enough of the Bryce Underwood. He will be starting. Even if he's not starting, he will have a substantial role on this team. I don't know if it's good for him. I don't know if it's bad for him. But after the quarterback play we saw at Michigan last year, they need some hope. And I think Mikey Keene might be dealing with some kind of injury or something like that. So even more fuel to
Mm.
the fire here for Bryce Underwood. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, my view on Underwood has shifted over the past several weeks because I mean, where I was coming from. I thought Keene was going to be the stopgap while Underwood kind of got his feet under him. I don't think you're going to be able to slow the hype train down. Like the NIL deal, now the spring practice buzz, Mikey Keene possibly being hurt. I think Underwood is the guy at this point, and it would take, I think, a minor miracle for Keene to be able to supplant him at this point because all the like you just don't have this type of buzz. I mean, he's getting Jeremiah Smith type buzz. And I remember I tried to I was like, let's slow down the hype train on Jeremiah Smith. And then of course, like Jeremiah Smith, it ends up being all world. And that's kind of the same thing we're getting with Bryce Underwood. And so it is harder at quarterback. Like I don't think it's great that a true freshman is going to be your starter, at least for the first 6 games. But I think if he has the talent, that means that he will elevate them at some point eventually. And I think it's good in the long term, but I think people who are expecting consistency in the first few games, but the fact that he's flashing this much, I mean, he's going to be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, if he is Jeremiah Smith good, sure, start a freshman right away. Now, I think the problem here is that Jeremiah Smith had time with the other good wide receivers on the roster that he didn't have to be Superman game one,
Yep.
and really game one, like they were playing cupcakes for the first 3 games of the schedule. That's my thing with Bryce Underwood is like in the first 4 weeks, he's going to Oklahoma and he's going to Nebraska. I'm not
Yep.
saying Nebraska and Oklahoma are playoff teams or anything like that, but I am saying those are two tough environments to go to. You got Bryce Underwood going in there, and then you also got Bryce Underwood saying quotes like, I mean, this is teetering on Signetti level of quotes, and I think if things don't pan out for Bryce this year, people could start talking a little bit. But he said he would like to win a couple of Heisman's and at least one Natty, just a couple
Mm,
Heisman's.
just a
Zach, just a
couple.
couple.
Yeah.
Three would be too lofty, but maybe just a
Hmm.
couple. What do you think?
Well, I think the biggest issue is his surrounding cast at this point, right?
Yeah,
Like, so I don't care how talented you are. I mean, you point out Jeremiah Smith, but there's a reason why at Ohio State, for instance, right, and even at Oregon, and Oregon has a lot of question marks too. But like at Ohio State, the reason why there's not as much concern about the quarterback situation is there's a lot of optimism about the pieces surrounding the quarterback. Like, who are your wide receivers? I know they are excited about some of the wide receivers that they've brought in, but like we haven't seen a lot of proof. They do have good running backs, right? The running back duo is great, but I am concerned about offensive line. I am concerned about tight end. Like, I'm concerned about what Michigan has been so good at offensively over the past 4 years. Aside from the running back room, I'm like, I don't know if I see a lot of elevation. Now, that being said, Sean Moore, fantastic offensive line developer. I know that's not his main role, but like there is reason to believe they can get an offensive line up to snuff. But like, let's be honest, that offensive line was not good last year. And you're now having to shuffle and do it. I don't know if I see the roster around him. Uh,
yeah. The offensive line is gonna have to show the development piece of Michigan still. Like you can have one year where it's like so, not very good, but you're bringing enough guys back from that offensive line that you should be able to show, hey, we developed these guys and we improved them. I was going to bring this up right before you did here, Zach. John says, I think Bryce Underwood will be very, very, very good, but my worry is he's either going to get hurt, God forbid that happens, or he'll be like Raiola and be bad as a freshman. The only reason I don't say the Rayola thing, and then I'll let you comment on this, Zach, is I do think Chip Lindsey is much more of an offensive coordinator than Marcus Satterfield was. So
that's
I
fair.
think that is going to help Bryce
Yep.
Underwood immensely. And also, too, like this is a like this is a situation where I felt like Dylan Rayola didn't have. I don't know. The wide receivers weren't what they expected them to be last year, and then also the offense just didn't cater to what went well for them and what didn't type of stuff. So what are your thoughts on it, Zach?
Yeah, in terms of Rayola and Rayola Underwood comparison, is that what you're?
Yeah, yeah, what John said in his comment.
Yeah, I think it's a good comparison because of baseline, right? Like we saw Rayola, who was highly touted, Underwood coming in. I I do think Underwood probably from a raw ability is better like at this point in his career than Rayola was at this point in his career a year ago. Um, yeah, it's hard. I also think while Rayola did not have I don't think Underwood has the best cast. I do think it's probably a little better. The running back room is far better than what Nebraska had a year ago. Like no disrespect to Nebraska.
Nebraska had depth, but they didn't have a star. Like
Yeah.
Michigan has two guys that could both be stars in Jordan Marshall and Justice Haynes, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think your point about the offensive coaching staff is incredibly valid.
Yeah, it helps to not have Marcus Satterfield. All right,
Yeah.
next freshman. or Philip had a good comment I wanted to bring up too. He said, "Still realistic that Underwood gets ruined by getting forced into a role where he's expected to be Superman right away." I do think the thing that's interesting on this, and then a quick comment from you, Zach, before we move on to the next one. I think it's interesting, like the whole NFL mindset of like we draft the guy, we bring him in, we start him right away. Like with how many freshmen you're seeing start, not just at quarterback, but at every position in college football now, because these guys are getting paid. Like,
Yeah.
and if you are going to pay a freshman, you are going to start them, right? And these freshmen are also realizing, like, hey, I get paid more money if I start and if I play well. So all in all, like you're seeing more freshmen start and more freshmen being ready to start for them. But it does bring into the NFL issue where some guys just get thrust into a role too soon. I was one on record saying it was better for JJ McCarthy to sit a year. Now, obviously, it's not good for him to get hurt. Didn't want that to happen, but it was better for JJ McCarthy to sit for a year, see the NFL a little bit more, and then get
Mhm.
into the starting position rather than just thrusting him into that right away. I think that's good for certain quarterbacks. Other quarterbacks seem like they can just kind of go through it. We'll see what Bryce Underwood is.
I think that's why the Oklahoma game is such a, and Nebraska for that matter, concerning games, because you don't think Brent Venables, who has not had a great tenure so far as the Oklahoma head coach, but what's he known for? Making life miserable for a quarterback. Like
Yeah.
that's his calling card. And you saw it happen to I'm not comparing Jalen Milroe to Underwood, but you saw what he did to Jalen Milroe. I mean, it was miserable.
Saw what Wink did to Jalen Milroe.
Right. That's fair.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, you're talking about a freshman going to Norman week 2 against a Brent Venable led defense, which has some talent. That's a tough task. And then you got to go week 4 to Lincoln and play a pretty good defense there too.
Yeah, for sure. Dave's here says running back room takes a lot off his pressure. A
A
lot
lot of
of his
pressure off.
pressure off. I can't read. Sorry. Dave, I thought that was a good comment. Appreciate you saying that. Last one here from Philip, and then we'll move on. 18 to 22 development is extremely significant for body development, and developing bad habits to adjust is a concern. Yeah, you're exactly right. It's not just starting too early and stuff like that, but also the development and bad habits, everything like that as well. You're exactly right there, Philip. So we'll see what Bryce Underwood does. If he is as talented as everybody makes him out to be, I think he'll be just fine. If not, might take him a year or two, and we'll see if the bad habits and stuff like that persist. The next freshman from the Big Ten they point out, Zach, is Decorian Moore. Decorian Moore is entering into an offense that is losing Tez Johnson and Trayshawn Holden. Evan Stewart is coming back, so that helps them. But looks like Decorian Moore could be starting, if not getting a lot of snaps in this wide receiver room for Oregon. In one article, I think I sent that one to you, he actually went as far to say that Dante Moore will win the Heisman or has a good chance to win the Heisman or something like that next year. So
Time out. Time out. Okay, if everybody's declared winning the Heisman, no one's winning the Heisman. Can we just
well,
stop this
Bryce
nonsense?
Underwood said just 2. Okay, he's got 4 years, 3. So Bryce can give it away this year. I'm just kidding. But I mean, it shows he's got confidence in his guy. Dante Moore seems to be the guy coming out of camp. Austin Novosad maybe was gonna contend there a little bit, but seems like Dante Moore is the guy. All I know is more, in my opinion. Dante Moore to Decorian Moore. Give me D Moore. Right, Zach? Was that
Oh
lame, Joe?
gosh.
Was that
Gosh.
lame?
I mean, well,
You weren't ready for that one, were you?
no, but I don't think I made the connection that it would be D Moore to D Moore. Listen,
On their jerseys, it's literally gonna have to say DAK dot Moore, and then Dante Moore is gonna have to be DAN dot Moore.
Well, one of them might just be Moore, and the other one might be Dak Moore, or I don't know.
This is why we
Seniority.
need nicknames on jerseys. This is why we need nicknames. So sorry, go ahead.
WR1, QB1. There we go. That's your name. I hate to be a wet blanket on this, man, but I'm not surprised that he's like a standout. But again, I think if you're expecting like Like I think it's very possible he gets 900 yards, and in this offense, maybe even over 1,000. But listen, you need to see it, and maybe this is the same. Like before, people rake me over the coals saying, "What you weren't saying about the Jeremiah Smith?" Yes, I was. Like full stop. I was not on the like. I knew Jeremiah Smith would be good. I didn't think he'd be that good. And that's my approach with Decorian Moore until he shows it against Big Ten competition. I think he's going to be good. I think he's insanely athletic. He's a different receiver profile. Not shocked at all that he's impressing in camp, and not shocked at all that he has a bunch of confidence. Guess what? He hasn't played a college game yet. So I tampered down the expectations. But I think he's going to be really good.
Yeah, he's going to be really good. I don't think he's going to step in and be Tez Johnson right away. Like, if everybody just expects him to be Dante Moore's favorite target and go to him on third down, like, if that's what people are expecting, like, you have those expectations for Kenyon Sadiq. Like, that's who you need to have those expectations for. Yeah. Just let Decorian Moore get into the rhythm of things. You'll continue to develop. That's the best kind of stuff for him. And, he's a freshman. He's excited, just like he should be. So, yeah, we'll see what it is for Decorian Moore. Next one, this one's a little interesting. Ohio State, they named Devin Sanchez as one who's showing out in camp, but I got to be honest here, Zach. In the scrimmage on Saturday, they had a student appreciation scrimmage. It was actually wide receiver Quincy, wide receiver for Ohio State. It was actually wide receiver Quincy Porter that lost his black stripe that day, which, if you know anything about the black stripe, it's essentially the way of like ingratiating somebody into the team as like you've earned your way onto the team type of deal. Some guys lose it very early in their freshman year. Some guys lose it into their freshman year. And there's other guys that don't lose it until their second year, type of deal. So it's just kind of like, I don't think you even are able to make it on the field very much, if at all, unless you get your black stripe removed. So it's just a tradition they have there at Ohio State. Devin Sanchez still has his black stripe. Quincy Porter doesn't. So I don't know. If I'm writing an article about a freshman at Ohio State, yeah, Devin Sanchez is one heck of a freshman, and he's going to be really, really good. But it's Quincy Porter that lost his black stripe. What say you, Zach?
Yeah, my only thought would be if he's taking into account who's going to get playing time. Quincy Porter might be wide receiver 5, which is kind of insane if you think about it.
They were saying he is Jeremiah Smith's backup.
Yeah. And
so
how often
not going to see the field a lot.
I was going to say, how often are you going to see the field over Jeremiah Smith?
Yeah, not often.
Yeah. Whereas Devin Sanchez, like, corner is a position, like it's a position of need. Like, there's a lot of young corners coming in. Aaron Scott, I think, Jermaine Matthews played a lot last year, but Sanchez, I think, he has a different body type too. Like, I mean, he's a big, young, physical corner. So again, I tampering down the hype, freshman corner, and has to go against some elite wide receivers, right? Carnell Tate, Jeremiah Smith, and he's tangling with them. But I would imagine that he's going to have more opportunity for playing time, and that's probably why he's getting a little bit more buzzed at, and he's like their biggest recruit in this class.
Yeah. I think the freshman that's going to get the most, yards and admiration and everything at Ohio State is probably going to be Bo Jackson. And that is no shot to the other running backs they have there. It's just Bo Jackson. My guy Jekon Bucks has been saying it, dude. He is something else. He is one heck of a running back.
For the longest time, I really thought it was Bo Jackson's son. And I was like, we got Bo Jackson's son. And then I was like,
you know what his first name is, right?
No.
Lamar Jackson. They named him Lamar Bo Jackson.
It's Lamar Jackson's son. He's like 10 years older or 10 years younger.
Yeah,
sorry, this is wrong.
That's hilarious. Hey, before we move on to the last one, let's say hello to Doreen. Hello, Doreen. Hey, JR and Zack. Good to see you here, Doreen. We appreciate you being here. Doreen said that sometimes she falls asleep too early to watch the show, Zack. So Doreen is staying up late for us tonight on a Sunday night. We appreciate you, Doreen.
Yes, as someone who likes to go to bed early, I appreciate you, Doreen.
Yeah,
that means a lot to stay up late
Zach
to watch us.
I keep Zach up on Sunday and Tuesdays though, and then sometimes we go an hour and a half in, and he's like, "I gotta get to bed."
And John says 3 hours, and I'm like, "Stop it!"
Yeah,
Don't
Either
do
him or
that to
Philip.
me.
Him or Philip,
Oh
one of the
yeah,
two.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We're not
Look at
going three
this.
hours.
Haven't seen Illini Bubba in a while. Haven't joined in a
Bubba.
while. Hi, hey Bubba. Glad to have you here. We appreciate it. So thanks for coming. It's the off season. A lot of people are getting their time in with the basketball and everything like that. So I figured we'd have some people, but glad to see some people coming back as well. And there we go, the Penn State guy as well. Hey fellas.
Yes.
Hi, Penn State guy. Hey, Penn State guy, you're here just in time because the next freshman we're going to talk about is Darius Dixon. I love Dixson. Dick's son. Just always kind of messes me up there. But Darius Dixon, freshman cornerback, coming in, talking about how he has been shining in practice. Just gonna read an excerpt here from the article. He says the 4-star recruit could even surpass some of his 5-star counterparts in playing time if everything clicks. Dixon is a ready-made pass defender and a massive wingspan, an impressive motor. And considering the Nittany Lions have to replace Jalen Kimber, there are reps to go around. Shocker, Zach. Penn State finds themselves a really good defensive back, and they're going to put him out there, and he's probably going to be really good. This is one of the things that Penn State has become known for. Linebacker, but they also have some really good defensive backs as well. Thoughts here, Zach?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big deal for them, right? They need corners to step up. And so for him to, he's one of their 3 top 100 recruits in this class, according to 247. So you got to have, we've been talking about Penn State kind of getting to that next level. You got to have your top 100 recruits hit. And so the fact that Dixon is making noise, I think that's actually a really big deal just for the culture of the program to say, hey, the guys that we're going after, they are hitting. So I think it's really good for them to get another corner, to get that back in, which again, they're going to have to face some really good wide receivers this season with Ohio State, with Oregon. So the fact that Dixon is shining early, that's a big deal.
Yeah, for sure. Reminds me of Notre Dame last year, how they had a couple 4-star guys in the secondary that just kind of went off and did some really cool stuff. So, yeah, very very cool. The Penn State guy says, "Did you see my videos I sent you in your comments on Drew Aller Exposed show?" I did not. I'll have to go look at that. Yeah. The Penn State guy. I apologize. Get a lot of comments and. So I didn't get to see that, but I'll go look at that and we'll get back to you. Thanks for sending that. All right, Zach, let's look at some top assistants now. There was an article came out by Adam Rittenberg, and he puts these assistants in 3 different categories. I'll go ahead and list them off, and then we'll go whatever direction you want to go with them. So it says Power 4 Launchpad. He has Penn State's offensive coordinator, Andy Kotelnicki, offensive coordinator for Oregon, Will Stein, Ohio State offensive coordinator, Brian Hartline, and then in the splashy first year hires, he had, he didn't have any Big Ten guys in that one. I apologize. I don't think he did. I thought he did. Nope, no guys in that one. And then he said other names to watch. He had Danton Lynn at USC, defensive coordinator, both coordinators for Indiana, Bryant Haynes and Mike Shanahan. And then finally, co-defensive coordinator for Iowa, Seth Wallace. Everybody knows Phil Parker over there, but you got the co-defensive coordinator over there at Iowa, Seth Wallace. That's an interesting name to know. What's he say? 46-year-old has had an integral role in one of the nation's most consistent defenses. Zach, any thoughts on these assistants that Adam Rittenberg named?
I feel like it's interesting that he has Brian Hartline and the launching pad, as if he's already proven it. That felt a little weird. And also I think Andy Kotelnicki, I thought that was interesting just because I think he did a lot of good things for Penn State, but I also thought there were things that were left to be desired at times with Kotelnicki. Not surprised at all that Danton Lynn was on the list. And quite honestly, I think we both might be a little higher on him than even Adam Rittenberg is.
Yeah, definitely after 2 years ago what he did at UCLA. It was, stock kind of down a little bit after USC this past year. I think in yards per play allowed, I think they were second last in the Big Ten. But you could still definitely see things were better for that Trojan defense last year. And I mean, the defensive line and everything else. I expect a much, much better defensive line for USC this year. And I think that's going to help them tremendously.
Yeah. Yep.
So.
Did you have guys on that list or not on the list that you were intrigued by?
Yeah, that was another thing. Jim Knowles wasn't on the list. National championship winning defensive coordinator last year.
Yeah,
I guess he's probably one that, maybe just everybody knows. You don't have to bring him up.
he's just aight.
Yeah, he's all right, I guess. I like that they listed both of the Indiana coordinators there. I thought, both of those guys deserved respect. I actually probably would have listed one of the Illinois coordinators after last season. It wasn't the flashiest season. Like it wasn't, like Indiana where they were completely blowing some teams out and stuff. But those guys have been pretty long tenured at Illinois, and Brett Bielema has been building something good there for him. So I don't know. I would have thought, maybe Aaron Henry, and right now the offensive coordinator is escaping me his name, but one of those two I would have thought maybe would have deserved to be on there. But this list, I mean, it's Clemson, Ohio State, Penn State, Georgia, like Oregon, Miami, like it's Tennessee. Adam's not going into deep Big Ten here or anything like that. I guess that's more for me and you to do. Barry Lunny. Thank you, Alina. And Philip. Barry Lunny.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Lunny and Henry or Terrence Jamison, who's a co-defensive coordinator, none of them are mentioned in this article, which is surprising.
Yeah. Anybody else you thought maybe should have been mentioned or anything?
Man, I do wonder about. I think we talked about Sunseri at UCLA, who came over from Indiana. Like, surprised that maybe he's not on the first year, like hire, not first. Yeah, I guess he would be a first year guy because he's the quarterback's coach at Indiana and now is the offensive coordinator. So I'm a little surprised that maybe he's not on there after what he did at Indiana as a quarterback's coach.
Yeah. Let me bring this up really fast because I actually have a full list of all the coordinators, and this might help us a little bit.
Oh,
if you can see that.
Look at that.
I got so much random stuff like this that I just have. Because I try to know all these names and everything as best I possibly can. So names that jump out to me, offensive coordinator wise, he doesn't have the biggest name because of where he's at, but Kirk Soraka has made Rutgers offense better. Like he deserves credit for what he's done there, bringing in Athan Kaliak-Manis and how he improved over the season over there as well. Jeff Grimes is somebody that's done well at Kansas. Andy Kotelnicki really made a name for himself there. Jeff Grimes, he was from Kansas, right?
Yes, I think so.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Kind of surprised by that a little bit. And then on the defensive side, another one, I put Don there. His name is Wink Martindale. I guess Don was probably his real name, and I looked it up. Joe Rossi there from Michigan State didn't have a great season last year, but he was good at Minnesota. Then he goes to Michigan State. Ryan Walters at Washington. We'll see if he can kind of revive himself a little bit after the Purdue stinker the past 2 years.
I would say he's got a lot of reputation building to do. A lot of reputation rebuilding. We didn't talk about this. He was on the list, but we didn't talk about him a lot. Will Stein deserves a lot of love for what he's done at Oregon.
They were saying he was a possible candidate for that Stanford job. It might still be Frank Reich is interim. Yeah, but to be thought of though.
Yeah, that's like the Chris Ash going to Rutgers when Rutgers wasn't stuck in Big Ten East craziness. Like,
yeah,
do you want this job over here? The Rutgers job? Like at that point, Rutgers was in the tank, and Kyle Flood had kind of, I wouldn't say tanked him, but he didn't do a great job adjusting to the Big Ten, and that feels like what would happen if Will Stein was like, do you want this job over here at Stanford and like go 1-11 every year and then get fired in 3 years and then have to revive your career? No, thanks. Don't do it, Will Stein. Don't do it.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. Sorry, I was mesmerized by Philip's comment here. Mike Loxley, future OC for some school. Listen, we were saying it about Tom Allen, so I mean, but DC wise, not OC.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I will say,
Larry, we're sorry if you're listening. Larry, we're sorry. We're sorry. Larry.
Well, I was gonna say, I do feel like I don't want to run from what I've said about Mike Loxley. There is something to be said about culture building and like just like
Larry got
healthy,
you with the personal side of it.
Yes,
Larry got you with the player passing away, which don't get me wrong, like that got me too. Like that whole story and like him coming alongside the family and helping rebuild the culture, like all of that stuff. I love that stuff. And I want Mike Loxley to do. I don't think we ever said we didn't want Mike Loxley to do well. We always did want him to do well.
I may have said that at some point.
You're the bad person. Okay.
Yes. I am a jerk.
Okay, let's do this really fast though. Let's do coordinators to watch off the top of our head really fast for next season. Are there any coordinators who can maybe make a name for themselves a little bit more next year? Let's kind of go back and forth, not give too many comments on because we don't have a ton of time, but just kind of go back and forth. Chip Lindsey, you know, he made a name for himself a little bit at North Carolina, bigger school like Michigan, though. Bryce Underwood does well. You know, he could make a name for himself a little bit. Anybody else on the offensive side you're looking at there, Zach?
I do think Tim Lester with another good season could really help bring them up. I think another name to look out for, especially with how difficult the schedule is, and he's coming after the debacle. I'm blanking on his name, but Jeff Grimes at Wisconsin.
Oh yeah,
like if somehow he upsets Alabama in week 3 because Billy Edwards is dealing or Danny O'Brien's dealing, like that's a big deal. And then Tino Sunseri, like I think Sunseri is a guy that I really am.
Name.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch Sunseri. I really like Sunseri. I've shared my thoughts on him here before. Very inexperienced, he's not young, but at the same time, he's early on in his coaching career. So, UCLA, that's quite the task to take on with Deshaun Foster and him being a young coach and everything else. So I like Sunseri a lot. I think he can do it. I don't know if UCLA was the best place for him to do it at. We'll see though. We'll see.
Yep.
Defensive coordinators on that side of the ball. I guess I need to put Seth Wallace in here as the co-one. I didn't even have Seth Wallace.
Yeah.
Thanks, Adam Rittenberg, for helping me out there.
I say we gotta take Brian Williams out of there and.
Oh, what's his name? Tino. What was his name?
Not Tino Sunseri.
Not Tino Sunseri.
I'm already blanking on his name. Yeah, I'm like, who are you? Who is the defensive coordinator?
Monachino or something.
Monachino. Ted Monachino.
Maryland fans are turning. Yeah.
Ted Monachino.
Maryland fans are turning off the podcast right now. Like, these guys don't even know our defensive coordinator.
No, we just need
Ted
to
Monachino. You're right.
We just need to keep reminding ourselves. You said it with defensive coordinators, but Aaron Henry does not get enough credit. And so I feel like they have a schedule this year that I think could get him respect, right? Like you play.
Philip and them are saying he needs to earn the respect in the comments here.
And he has an opportunity to do it at Indiana. Yeah. Like they play at Duke, which, Duke is okay offensively, although they don't have Malik Murphy anymore. But at Duke, at Indiana, USC, Ohio State, at Washington, like you've got some good quarterbacks and some good offenses that you're going to have to face in that mid part of the season. Like that's a much tougher task than what they faced. And the one big offense that they really faced a year ago was Oregon, and they got torched.
Good point. I really like this comment from Joe. He says, with that hair, Tino belongs in LA. It's true. It's true. And then Billy read my mind, just like I was going to talk about Tino Sinceri for offense, defensive. Matt Patricia at Ohio State. Everybody hated the hire. Everybody talked about how terrible it was and everything. And now he's coming in, and could we see Matt Patricia maybe prove some people wrong? The players seem to love him. Every defensive player talks really good about him in the interviews for Ohio State, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, they kind of sound like after their ex broke up with them and they got together with someone new. They're
Do you
like,
think they're doing that on purpose? Do you think they're trying to shade Jim Knowles?
no, I don't. I'm not saying they're doing it on purpose, but more like it's easy to look through scarlet colored glasses when like everything is new and everything's exciting and you have negative emotions attached to how the last guy left. And there were, and there still probably are. So I don't think it's intentional. I don't think they're coordinating it and be like, this day we're going to say that this about Matt Patricia. Like, I don't think it's that. I think it's more like, I don't know. It just seems kind of like everything's so great. It's like, guys, you've had like a month of spring practice. Like,
well, yeah, and I have some skepticism. Obviously, this is better than hearing like, yeah, we hate the guy. Like,
oh
you
yeah,
don't want to hear that.
that'd be terrible.
But I do have
Recruiting's
some
great, too.
skepticism of like, oh, he's just letting us play so free and everything like that. It's like, okay, I like that, but at the same time, what's the scheme and everything gonna look like? I don't know. But also that's hard to talk through with spring ball because they're not implementing a deep scheme or anything like that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we got to move on, Zach. We got to get to our draft. So we are going to be right back. We are going to draft our top 10 upsets in the Big Ten next year. Should be really fun. We'll be right back. Enjoy this commercial break, and then we'll come right back. Have you ever wanted to watch all 22 film, that film the coaches watch? Well, now you can. Introducing the Coaches Film Room. Over at Minutes to Sports, former college coach Zach Smith breaks down film of the most relevant teams in college football with a bit of a Big Ten lead. It's not free, so you'll need to sign up for the Colonel tier, which is $25 a month, but I can attest to you that it is far more worth it than that. With about 4 to 8 games per week, this is worth so much more money, not to mention Zach's analysis, making you a smarter football fan. Go check it out. The links are in the description, minutestosports.com. You won't be sorry. Back here on the Big Ten Huddle, Zach, I went all out for this. Okay. I created, what's that, like the hot board list or whatever. with games and everything. Like, I got stuff over here. I don't have an order because you can see it as well, and I don't want you taking my picks. So I do have some thoughts though, but who should get the first draft pick here? We didn't talk about this beforehand.
I feel it was your birthday.
Should we let the chat decide?
I was gonna say it was your birthday yesterday, so
Oh,
but I was gonna say the chat can decide, but I would default to you as the birthday boy.
okay. So that means if I get the very first pick, I am picking what I see as the most likely upset in the Big Ten next year. This is a pretty loaded statement. So I guess I should preface with this. I'm not picking any games that are like there could be a question on like which team is going to be favored and which one isn't. Like Indiana, Illinois, I'm completely leaving that one off because I have no idea what like who's going to be favored there or anything like that. I'm leaving that one off. I'm not doing Illinois, USC, anything like that. Like there are certain games like that. Like I'm not looking at Ohio State and Penn State or anything like that because those are just too close. So I'm not looking at any of those. I'm looking at games where I think for sure there is going to be a favorite coming into the season. Zach, they've won the last few years in this rivalry game.
No, don't do it.
Should I pick it number 1?
Don't do it. Oh dear.
Okay, I guess I should also say this as well. We are also going to be taking points on this. My picks, I get a point for every upset that I get is right. Same with Zach, and then
we're gonna keep track. Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm keeping a list and everything. So we'll see. We each get 5 picks out of this top 10. We'll see what happens. Okay, So I'm not going to do that. I call me biased, call me a homer. That's fine. I will be a bias and a homer in this instance. Zach, you can pick it later on if you want. I am going to pick. Actually, should I pick Illinois over Ohio State?
I say nothing. You can do what you want.
I can't do it. I'm going to pick Indiana over Penn State.
That was one of my top ones.
Yeah. That's going to be it for me. Indiana over Penn State. If you look here on the chart, Indiana plays Penn State after going to Maryland. They're going to go to Penn State. Penn State is going to be coming off a game where they are at Ohio State. Could it be the whiteout game? I mean, I'm looking at that week there. I don't really know if I see another like big enough game that's going to take big noon away. But I don't know. For me, it was either Indiana over Penn State or Illinois over Ohio State there as my first one. A couple other options, but I guess I'm giving you a hint at what I'm going to pick if you don't pick one of those. Zach, your thoughts?
Yeah. I was just going to say, I think that's a really good pick because Penn State has to play at Ohio State the week before.
Yeah, it's like a trap game kind of, right?
Yeah, so like Penn State at Ohio State, Indiana, whereas like Indiana, like they play at Oregon, that's hard, but then they have a couple of home games and then at Maryland. So like they have 3 games that they could really build some momentum up with. And yeah, like I think Penn State, they might have the same problem they've had the past couple of years where their offense gets stagnant because they don't have somebody who can take the top off your defense. And that's the type of game that Indiana can beat you in. So I think it's a great pick.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Zach, you are on the clock.
Illinois upsets Ohio State.
That
was my number 1 pick. And so when you said, should I pick that? I'm like, don't do it. But I'm like, go ahead. You can pick it. I have said, so if you look at Ohio State's schedule, they have Texas, Grambling State, Ohio, and then a bye. And then they have to travel to Washington, home Minnesota, then at Illinois, at Wisconsin. And like low key, Ohio State's going to be favored by at least a touchdown in every single one of those games. But Illinois, like playing at Illinois is hard. Illinois has talent, and you most likely are going to have Julian Sayin, although the reports coming out now seem like everybody's saying Lincoln Keenholz is the guy. I don't buy it. It's going to be Sayin until otherwise. I'm just saying it's Sayin. LOL.
That's all I'm saying.
That's all I'm saying. Sorry for the terrible joke, but I just think Burt, like Ryan Day, I don't think has coached against Burt yet since Burt's been back. If he has, I forget when.
I don't think he has.
And I just think it's the middle of the season for Ohio State where they're going to be working out kinks, a lot of road games. And you look at Illinois' schedule, like at Indiana's going to be tough. They get USC at home. That'll be tough. But like they don't have to travel a ton. Like everything's close to them. So like I don't love the way the schedule breaks for that. So I like Illinois to upset Ohio State there.
Illinois, the last time they beat Ohio State was 2007. The last time they played was 2017.
Mm-hmm.
The last time Illinois won in Champaign against Ohio State, you got to guess?
I want to say 2000.
91.
Is it 91?
Yeah, they won 1, 2, 3, 4. They won 4 games in Columbus after that one.
Wow.
That's pretty crazy.
That is crazy. But, the last time Burt played Ohio State was when they upset number 1 Ohio State in Camp Randall.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. Philip says outright upsets, not covering the spread.
Yep,
Correct.
outright.
Yeah,
Outright.
we have no idea what the spread is. So,
Yeah.
and,
And
then I liked this comment from Illini Bubba. Where is it? Do we like Zach is picking Illinois though?
I may be protecting the Buckeyes right now.
You've Billy Tuesday has banished you from the show.
Oh man.
Listen, I would just leave it at that. Okay. Question, Zach. Is Ohio State going to be favored over Texas?
No.
You think Texas is going to be favored over Ohio State in Columbus?
I think the Arch Manning factor will matter.
Can I pick that one, or is that one too close?
I'd give it. I had it on my list
for sure. Like one team over the other, but I'm questioning that one, so I don't know if I can.
I had it on my list.
So I can pick that one.
Yes.
Okay, but if Ohio State is favored, it's a wash. I can't get any points from it. I guess is kind of the
that's fair.
There.
That's fair.
I don't know if I'm willing to take that risk. I think Ohio State might be favored over Texas. All right. Let me cross out these ones here that I can no longer pick. All right. I will take a rivalry game to end the season.
Oh,
the very last game of the year for these two teams. I will take Washington over Oregon.
Ooh, that is a fun pick. I did not have that on my list. That's a good pick.
At Washington?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Washington's got a pretty hard slate of home games this year. They get Ohio State at home, Illinois at home. You know, do they lose 2 home games early in the year and they're like, man, we got to protect home field, and then they got Oregon coming in. Oregon, like, things are looking better in some areas, but they just lost their entire secondary. So, I mean, I don't know. Does Jed Fish get things rolling? I don't know. I'm not picking that it's going to happen, but
it's your number 2 pick.
Yeah.
It's your second round pick. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. That's what I'll go with. Washington over Oregon. Zach, you are on the clock.
I'm torn between a couple. Indiana over Penn State was actually one of my top ones.
Dave's here. The line is already out. Ohio State is -6. So yeah, that would be a stupid pick by me. So thanks, Dave's here. I didn't even think to look that one up, but yeah, that line would totally be out on that one already. So, all right, sorry, go ahead.
So I'm going to. This is maybe because I talked with Larry last week.
Wait, you're gonna pick a Maryland upset in round 2?
I am.
In round 2?
Okay.
Okay.
But
right, go ahead. I actually no, please do. Please take a Maryland upset.
Oh no, do it. No, I'm not going to. I'm gonna go Oklahoma over Michigan.
Drat. I talked you out of it. Okay, so you think Michigan will be favored over Oklahoma?
At least according to the way too early line or the way too early rankings. Let me see if the line is.
I don't think that line is out. I have not seen that one yet. Okay. All right. Oklahoma over Michigan. I have an SEC upset that I'm waiting a little while on because I don't think you're going to pick it.
Probably not.
You know what I'm talking about?
No, not at all. Okay. Unless you're talking about Texas over Ohio. Or no, that wouldn't.
No, I'm talking about a different one.
Oh, no, I know what you're talking about. Talking about. Yeah, I'm not picking that.
Okay, I'll pick a last one. Very good. Sweet.
My strategy's out the yeah. Everything I said before about Underwood. You're going up against a guy who loves, like, his favorite thing to do is to make young quarterbacks squirm.
Yeah.
And you're traveling to Norman. Like that just screams upset to me.
I kind of want to pick Michigan over Nebraska or Michigan over USC, but I just don't know like I don't know if Michigan's gonna be favored in that one or if one of those two are gonna be favored. Like I looked through this Michigan schedule and thought, where is the for sure like upset pick? And obviously, like it went to Ohio State there at the end of the schedule. They've won the past 4 years in a row, and they were just what
Yeah.
20-point favorite. Ohio State was just 20-point favorites, and they won. So like, but that is such a big one. I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna get points from it. So I don't
Yeah.
want to pick it that big again. So like I have Nebraska over Michigan and like USC over Michigan on here, but I don't think I can do it. All right. I'm gonna pick. This one's off a little bit, and maybe they won't be favored, but Minnesota over Nebraska.
Mm.
That one's kinda. I know the line on that one is not out. That one's kind of risky because depending on what happens in the season, we'll see who's favored and all that stuff. But you look at this Nebraska schedule. Nebraska's going to go to Maryland and then to Minnesota. That's a lot of travel in a row for them. And then Minnesota's coming right off of home against Purdue to home against Nebraska. If Nebraska beats Michigan, I mean, we say this every year about Michigan, but like, or about Nebraska, like they could be 6-0 going into this Minnesota game.
Yeah. Well, and even 5-1 would be,
or even 5-1. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
in Minnesota, like they get Ohio State at Cal, like they're gonna have at least one loss on there. I don't think they lose to Cal, but that's still a lot of travel, so you never know.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're gonna have at least one loss on there. So yeah, what do you think?
Yeah. Someone said it might be a 50-50 game, but I
Yeah.
think that is.
I just need I just need Nebraska favored though, even if it's 1.5. I just need them favored.
Yeah, Minnesota's at home. And I think Nebraska will be favored in that game. And I think that is probably more likely than where I was thinking about with Minnesota. I'm probably not going to draft where I was.
Also,
the
Coy
upset.
Parrish, like you're not telling me Coy Parrish is gonna make a play in that game? I don't know.
Yeah,
I got a lot of hype in Coy Parrish this year.
as you should. I think he's going to be one of the top safeties in the conference.
Yeah, he's
So,
gonna be great.
He's really good. Really good.
Let's see.
So is it third round?
It is, but let's take a commercial break really fast
Okay.
because we got to get one more commercial in. So we're gonna hit one more commercial break, and then Zach will come back with his third round pick. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Homefield is your go-to destination for premium collegiate apparel with a passion for comfort and a flair for vintage design. Homefield brings you gear that is comfortable and stylish. With over 150 colleges to choose from, Homefield digs deep into the archives, uncovering forgotten logos, iconic mascots, and legendary moments to create one-of-a-kind apparel. Use my code TBTH for 15% off for new customers, or use my link in the description. Back here on the Big Ten Huddle, Zach is on the clock. Zach, give us your upset pick.
All right, I'll go with where I was going to go before. So I don't trust Jed Fish away from home. Maryland has a bye.
Oh.
And then they play Washington.
Oh.
Washington plays Ohio State the week before.
Oh.
So I'm picking Maryland to upset Washington at home.
Wow. Wow. Maryland over Washington. Larry is fist pumping the sky right now.
Mm-hmm.
I like Larry.
He's good. He's a good guy.
We got to get Larry on again.
Mm-hmm.
He was awesome.
He said he wants to be on during the wrestling rankings.
Oh, yeah. We need so many people for that one.
I know. It's going to be so good.
That's gonna be so fun. I gotta start arranging that. We got enough votes in the thing. I gotta start arranging that.
So. 4-hour show. Here we go.
It really might be. We gotta do that one on a Friday night. I cannot hang if it's on like a Tuesday or something.
Oh man.
I could not hang. All right. Okay, so you picked Maryland over Washington there.
Mm-hmm.
Should I don't know. Should I go with something juicy? Because I feel like we need, we each went with kind of like maybe a not as juicy one there. Minnesota over Nebraska. I feel like I need to go with something juicy. The Indiana fans might hate me. It's okay. All right. John is about to turn the podcast
Oh
off after
no,
this. John,
no.
please do not do so. You can point and laugh when I'm wrong. Iowa over Indiana.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see
Indiana's
that.
coming off a big game against Illinois. It's at. Sorry, John, I just did it. It is at Iowa. Iowa going into this game, they could lose to Iowa State. We'll see what happens. So Indiana's ranked above them. So even though it's at Iowa, I still expect Indiana to be the one favored in this game. It's a similar reason, Indiana fans. It's a similar reason why I picked you over Penn State. So just remember, picked you to get the upset over Penn State. This one too. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So all right, Zach. John is still commenting, so it looks like he had nice. It's not you're gonna say pretty. No, I'm not that stupid. I'm not that stupid, John.
I might be.
All right, Zach.
So you said we need to be.
You have two more picks.
So
Two more picks.
you said we got to be juicy, right?
You don't have to be.
You don't have
I
to
got
be.
a juicy one set up next, so feel free to not be juicy if you want to.
Oh man.
Let's just say it wouldn't be a show without some trashing of the SEC. Let's
Oh,
just say that.
oh yeah. No, that is a juicy one. That
Got
is
my
a juicy one.
one
What you're
coming.
talking
So
about. Illini Bubba's upset with me that I picked Illinois to win a game, so I might as well pick one where they're going to lose.
Get the upset over Illinois, okay?
Because then they'll win, and yeah, everybody will be happy.
Then they'll just thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. So I see. This is the problem with Washington, though, is they are so good at home, and they're terrible away. But they host Illinois at home. My only reservation is that Washington's schedule up to that point is pretty dang hard. Yeah. Like it's so. Do I actually want to pick that? It's probably more likely than the one I thought about.
Well, you got two more left, so
I know. We're getting to I think the more difficult ones because a lot of them are 50-50 games. All of my top 5 are gone.
Yeah. Like I could pick Penn State over Ohio State, but if Ohio State loses to Washington and Illinois, they might not be favored. Like if they lose to Texas, Washington, Illinois, I'm not predicting that happens, Ohio State fans. I'm just saying it's a possibility. If that happens, like Penn State would be the favored team in that scenario, right? Like, so.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna lay it out on the line. I'm not gonna do the Illinois game yet.
Okay.
I'm gonna be stupid.
Oh,
I'm gonna be
we're just talking about being bold.
Stupid.
You want to be stupid instead of bold. Okay. All right.
I'm gonna be bold and stupid.
Okay.
Purdue under the lights.
That was not the right word. You should have said first.
Gets USC.
Okay. All of our USC fans just left.
Okay, here's the reason why.
They are pounding their computer right now.
Remember the last Purdue upset I picked, Notre Dame won by like a bajillion. Jeremiah Love just scored again. But again, it's about schedule. USC has to travel. It's probably going to be a Friday night game. And, short schedule. I know that Southern Cal doesn't play anybody first 2 weeks. But I just think, Barry Odom, I think he's going to have his guys ready to play.
You think maybe they're looking ahead to Notre Dame?
Possibly. Well, no, USC doesn't play Notre Dame that week.
Oh, no, Purdue does, sorry.
No, you know what? Can I take that back? Let me take it back. Please let me take it back.
No do-overs, Zach. I've already written it in. No,
dang it.
You can take it back.
I take it back. I take it back. I'm going Washington, Illinois. That's my pick.
Okay, fine.
I as
He
soon as
juked you guys, Illinois fans. He juked you.
I'm sorry. I started talking about it and I'm like, who's the quarterback for Purdue? We don't know. And everybody's been saying it has not looked good. And I'm like, I can't do it.
Aaron
I
Nolan,
can't do
though.
it.
Aaron Nolan going to Purdue.
Wait, he is?
That's what the Purdue Insider said is like the
Oh.
name to watch would be Aaron Nolan to transfer from South Carolina to Purdue, which I was like, he'll play. I don't think he's playing at South Carolina because of that Sellers dude, but
Yeah.
you
Yeah, I
know,
don't think
I don't
so.
know. I don't know. It might be better to sit on the bench than play at Purdue.
Yeah. I can't I can't pull the trigger. I'm gonna
sorry,
go
Purdue fans.
yeah, I'm gonna go Washington, Illinois. I just think I don't know how likely it is with Washington's schedule. But the one saving grace is that oh no, never mind. Forget that. They do Washington has to travel a lot. They have to travel to Maryland. They have to travel to Michigan. So it's going to be tough. Illinois is coming off a bye, but I could see where, especially if they beat Ohio State, there's a little jubilation. They get a little fat and happy, and then
Okay.
Washington is able to beat them at home.
All right. All right. The OHL podcast. Eric says, "Don't give me a heart attack, Jr." Eric, I almost. So here is my thought process. Okay, I almost picked Michigan over Ohio State, my very first pick, and here is my thought process: was if I hedge my emotions of losing, like I don't gamble, but my thought process was always if I do gamble, I'm just gonna gamble on all the teams I don't want to win on winning, and then I'm sad they won, but I make money off of it. So then if I lose money, it's like, well, I'm happy my team won, but I don't know, maybe that would ruin sports for me. So I just don't gamble. So that was my thought process there, but I couldn't do it, Eric. Don't worry. And then Troy V says, I got Oregon losing to Washington at the end of the year. That was my second pick there, Troy. You and I, one of the same. One of the same. I stole that one from Zach. He didn't even have it on his radar, but I still stole it from him. All right, last pick. Fifth round. Last pick. I am going to go with oh no, you're good, Troy. You're good. I was just no worries there. I appreciated the comment. I'm gonna go with Wisconsin over Alabama.
Trust in Luke Fickell.
Listen, they gave Alabama a pretty hard time when Tyler Van Dyke was still in last year, right? Like, I don't know. Do we really trust this whole Alabama quarterback situation? Like, as much as we're hearing, like, well, Julian Saban's not looking great at Ohio State, like, Alabama can't seem to pick their quarterback right now. They got a whole bunch of stuff going on with them as well. Like, I would feel better about this if if Alabama didn't bring Ryan Grubb back, but I don't know. Like, is it becoming too much down there for Kalen DeBoer? Like, he just lost his bowl game. There's not a whole lot of momentum for Alabama right now. Like, they're not doing nearly as well in the recruiting trail as they have been in the past. Like, our vibes down there right now. I have no idea who Alabama plays the first 2 weeks of the season. But, like, couldn't there just be something poetic there about, like, everybody's doubting Luke Fickell, thinking he's going to have a terrible year, thinking he's going to get himself fired, win 4 games, maybe 5 if he's lucky, and then week 3 he comes out and he takes down Alabama. I just think it would be awesome.
They play at Florida State, and then they play LA Monroe. So there could be some false sense of security because Florida State stinks.
Yeah.
And LA Monroe, LA Monroe might be better than Florida State. Like that might be the more challenging game at this point. So maybe false sense. Wisconsin does have to go to Alabama, but I would love it.
Is that good for them? Maybe like do they continue to feed into like the nobody believes in us type? Like
I think there is certainly some of that there.
Luke Fickell seems like the type of guy that would give that edge to his team. Right?
Yeah.
Philip asked if Alabama's going to be good next year. I mean, they're like 8th in way too early polls and stuff like that. I mean, they're going to be one of the highest talent composites in the nation because it's Alabama. But
yeah, My
They
my
scored 3 points against Oklahoma last year.
yeah. My
Like,
my only concern with that is like Ryan Williams just being Ryan Williams. But I don't have a problem with the pick. Like I think like they lost one of their best running backs in Justice Haynes,
yeah.
right? They they don't know what they're doing at quarterback. And there is very clearly been an effect of Nick Saban leaving. Like as good
And
as
that
I thought,
offensive line, even under Nick Saban his last 2 or 3 years, was not what we've come to see from Alabama offensive lines either.
yeah.
You know? So, yeah, that's very interesting. Dave's here says Michigan over Ohio State isn't going to be an upset by game time. Hot take there by Dave's
Mhm.
here. I like it, Dave's here. Very good. We appreciate you being here. We
Yeah.
appreciate the hot takes. Love it. All right, Zach, your final pick of the
Yeah.
draft.
It's not going to be Purdue. I've talked myself out of that.
If you pick 2 Purdue games, yeah,
I've talked myself out of it.
yeah.
I
I think I talked you out of it, unfortunately.
well, you did, but also I think as I was like verbally processing, I'm like, this is dumb. Don't do this, Zach. But you kind of did too. I'm gonna go. Someone mentioned Northwestern earlier. It's
I
like
had one of them.
Northwestern's good
I had
for
one of their
one.
games on here. Yeah.
And here's my thought process. Minnesota goes to Autzen before they go to Evanston. And I think that might be enough to give Northwestern a little bit of juice going into that game. So I got Northwestern over Minnesota.
All right. Northwestern. I had that one down on my list. I wasn't gonna pick it, but I thought it was notable enough to put on there. Northwestern over Minnesota. Yeah. Zach, neither one of us, actually you did. You picked Oklahoma over Michigan.
Yes.
I didn't pick a single upset over Michigan. Primarily because I don't know who they're going to be favored over and who they're not going to be favored over.
I think that's fair.
Yeah. Troy says, I think that Minnesota Northwestern game is at Wrigley this year. It might be. I didn't look that up. It might very well be. Does that give you some trepidation there that Northwestern isn't going to be playing in the Bayside Stadium?
I don't love it because I do think the Bayside Stadium actually, or the Lakeside Stadium, gives them
Lakeside. Yeah, sorry.
It gives them more of an advantage just because they can control the crowd more. But I still think Northwestern, like, I don't think Minnesota fans are going to travel nearly as much as like fans in Columbus would.
Yeah,
I could be wrong by that, but I think Northwestern. It doesn't change my thought on the game.
Dave's here says Michigan and Northwestern is at Wrigley this year.
Yeah,
but they could do 2. Didn't they do 2? They did Illinois.
They did a few. Yeah,
they did Illinois and Ohio State last year.
Yeah. I still think that's such a cool concept, though, that they're playing at Wrigley. If I lived closer, I would go in a heartbeat to see a football game there.
Dave's here says it's Wayne going. I would totally do it. That's a once in a lifetime chance there. Dave's here. If you got the resources to do that and everything, I'd totally do it. So yeah. And Troy says Minnesota's playing there too. So another 2 games at Wrigley this year. That's awesome. Very cool. Yeah, I would if you're a Minnesota fan or a Michigan fan, just do it. You know, that's one of those once in a lifetime opportunities type of things. So yeah, just do it. If you got the resources and everything to do it, that would be awesome. So, All right, Zach, you want to have us go through a few of our games that maybe we were thinking about going with, but we didn't. I'll go first with a couple. Michigan State over Michigan was one I was thinking about. Didn't go with it. I figure Michigan State will for sure be favored in that one. I think Michigan State's got some opportunity to, be good this season, but I don't know. Like I need to see Aiden Childs improve before I really start believing in him. Another one, UCLA over Penn State. UCLA's brought in some guys in the transfer portal. I don't think it'll happen. Obviously, I didn't pick it, but Penn State is coming off of, let's see, They're coming off of Oregon right before that game, traveling across the country. We saw what Penn State looked like last year, traveling across the country to USC. I don't know. I thought about that. And then Nebraska over Michigan, I thought of too, but I just didn't think there would be enough there. Washington over Illinois, you chose. Like I said, Michigan over Ohio State. I think the only other one, Purdue over Rutgers. That was my Purdue one that I had.
Yeah.
Purdue over Rutgers.
Yeah, I think that's a good one.
So.
I had this would have been a bold one, but I did think about Minnesota over Oregon. Because even though they'd be on the road, they have a bye, so they could rest up.
And it's not as far for them as it is for other Big Ten teams.
Yeah, and Oregon would be coming off. They'd be coming off an away game at Kinnick against Iowa. So I was like, I think there's some opportunity there.
Yeah, I'd like the juice on that one a lot more if it was like coming off an away game against Ohio State or Penn State or something like that.
Yeah,
that's the problem with Oregon is they have Penn State and then a bye.
Yeah, it's not fun.
I mean, I say problem for Oregon. That's good for Oregon fans.
Yeah. Well, it's the problem for Indiana is that Oregon's coming off a bye.
Yeah, I would love that Indiana game if it was Oregon at Penn State and then Indiana right after that.
Yeah. So I had like Oregon, Minnesota over Oregon was a thought. I actually, let's see, what are some other ones? I did have USC over Notre Dame.
I thought about that one too, but isn't it at Notre Dame?
It is, but like they're losing their leader, and USC like they have a bye. It's just at home against Michigan, and then at Notre Dame, and then another bye. So that I feel like they can really game plan for those 2 weeks because it's just like bye, 2 games, bye. So they can kind of let it all hang out in those 2 games. True. I did have Ohio State upsetting Texas, but as we determined, it's not an upset. So let's see, what else did I have? I tried to pick one for every team. Like, or have someone in the chamber for every team. So I had Indiana upsetting Penn State, Iowa upsetting Iowa State.
We didn't have. We said Michigan State over Michigan, Minnesota, Nebraska over Michigan.
Yeah. Oh, so one that I think is a little tricky for Iowa is I have Rutgers over Iowa because I could see where Kaliak Manis and the receivers continue to improve. I'm sorry, Eric. I did. That was my number 1 pick.
I thought about it, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Because I'm a good Ohio State fan, unlike Zach.
Okay. I'm a pessimistic one. We know this. We've determined this. I'm the guy who says Ryan Day should be fired after. I'm not. I'm making a pledge.
We both said it, buddy. We both said it.
Yeah, I am making a pledge, though. I will not. Like, Ryan Day deserves so much credit. Like, I'm not. He gets at least 2 years from me before I say anything like that again. And yes, Eric, it scares me to death too. I think that whole 4-game stretch for Ohio State it's tougher than people think.
Ohio State has a sneaky hard schedule. Like, you don't have Oregon on there again, but that 4-game stretch in the very middle there, that's concerning. So
yeah.
The Penn State guy said I'm a better Indiana fan.
Okay, I need to clear something.
The Penn State guy, you're not wrong.
I just want to clear something up. I do not want Loxley in Columbus.
Oh.
I do not. I think the story for him in Maryland is great, and it's changed my heart in how I think about Mike Loxley. Keep him away from Ohio State.
Does Mike Loxley beat Michigan, though, last year?
No. Has he ever beaten Michigan?
I mean, he's given Michigan some good games.
So is Ohio State.
I don't know.
Ryan Day has actually beat Michigan.
Ryan Day's got the block, though. He's got the mental block. I mean, hopefully it's gone this year. We'll see.
I think
But he's got the mental block and Sharon Moore's in his head, man.
I think it's gone.
Yeah.
I think the
We also
playoff
said that
run
last year too.
No, I didn't. I didn't
You
say
didn't?
that.
Okay.
No.
I did. Okay.
This is my thought on Ryan Day is he is so good at playing from ahead. And from a psychological standpoint, the national championship and the playoff run was him basically saying, yeah, I have proven that I am one of the top 2 coaches in college football. I don't have anything else to prove.
Yeah.
And so like, and not like the rivalry game is still the most important thing for Ohio State. Like anyone who says that it's fine that they didn't beat Michigan and still won the national championship, they don't understand the rivalry. Like, but what the national championship does is it validates you as one of the top coaches in college football. And that's, I think, what he was looking for. And now it's like, we've done it. We've climbed the mountaintop. Yeah. So I actually am looking for teams that are not as good to kind of catch them by surprise. I do think they beat Michigan this year in Ann Arbor. And I would stand on that.
So do I get a point if they don't? Should that be our tiebreaker?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I will stand on that.
All right. Tiebreaker is Michigan and Ohio State.
Yeah.
If Michigan wins, I win the tiebreaker, right?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
All right,
Illini, I was just going to say, Illini, every time comments about Ryan Day come up on this episode, I roll my eyes. You all have been so harsh on an elite coach. I would agree with you. We have, I would just say, I think, I want to caveat this. Anything directed at his family is completely out of bounds.
Oh, yeah. Terrible.
Like all that garbage. But he did, like, I don't know if he deserved how harsh we were, but he deserves some of it.
I mean, when you come to Ohio State, that's the goal. Beat that team up north. So, yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad for what I said about how it went, but but I think we were proved wrong when he went and he won the national championship.
Yeah.
So
that's right. That run was crazy.
It was crazy. So, yeah. Let's see. Zach said, or Eric said something. He said, Zach, that game scares me to death this year.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's right smack there. It's right smack dab in the middle of that 4-game stretch. That is pretty tough for Ohio State. So
yeah, it's tough.
We'll see. All right. Any other comments that we need to get to before? Illini boasted you should feel bad. Yeah. All right. Okay, last one. Dave here says, who didn't think OSU was going to win? You'd be a bigger homer than I am during P. Well, that was the thing that I said, like, with the game, and I don't really talk about it because, like, I don't think it's relevant now, but like everybody say, like all the Michigan fans that were saying, oh, Ohio State fans don't care about the game beforehand. Like, now they don't care about the game because they won the national championship. And I was like, I saw multiple Michigan fans on Twitter saying, we don't even care what happens in this game. Like, this game doesn't mean anything to us because, we know we're rebuilding, So for me, it was always like, whatever team didn't win that one was going to try and say, oh, it didn't matter to us because, X, Y, and Z and everything else. But yeah. So, all right. Anything else to get to, Zach, before we get out of here?
Yeah. I mean, I think just say, I think we thought Ohio State would win because of the quarterback issues at Michigan. Like that was, if you asked me at the beginning of the year, I was like, I don't, and I've said, I've been consistent until Ohio State won the national championship. I have not trusted Ryan Day in big games. So I picked Ohio State big over Michigan. Shame on me. But then I picked Tennessee over Ohio State. And the reason why
you did that. Yeah.
Yeah. And the reason why was I'm like, why would I trust this coach? That is completely flipped now. And it should flip because Ryan Day did something that no other coach has done. So I think that's you have to do things with the information you're given as it continues to come out. And so I think Ohio State, I think Ryan Day has proven himself with arguably the greatest playoff run of all time. And so you have to change you have to change how you think about things when coaches do something different.
Magic questions, Zach. Our favorite thing to talk about, the Penn State guy. When do the Michigan sanctions ever come? Yes, they do. Who knows?
The hammer's coming soon, right? Oh my
if it comes, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, like we said, our stance quickly shifted once we saw the way they dealt with everything. Our stance quickly shifted from there's going to be something to Michigan is going to try to take this to court into oblivion until the NCAA basically just dies and withers away.
Yeah. I think that
I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but if I was Michigan, that's probably what I'd do. I'd probably just try to keep fighting it as much as I possibly could. Guess what? You're going to make a whole lot more money, having a football program that's going to bowl games and stuff like that and getting conference revenue than you are from not having that, still being in court and everything. Yeah. So
yeah,
I just think they keep fighting it until the NCAA eventually goes away in the next 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. We might find out 2045, maybe 2046.
I think we'll find out what the NCAA wants to do to them. But if it's bad enough, I think Michigan, like I said, will just keep fighting it. Maybe it's not bad, and maybe they don't do anything. We'll see. Maybe NCAA is spineless and they just have nothing. But
I kind of feel like what might happen. Do you ever see the Denzel Washington gif where someone shows up and he just slams the door in his face?
Yeah.
I just feel like it's going to be that. It's like, we're here to show you your violations. Whap. We don't care. And the NCAA is like, okay, goodbye now.
Yeah, we'll see. The truth is nobody knows what's going to happen on it. I mean, nobody has any idea. Pete Thamel is probably the only person that has any good idea about it. Maybe because he got some of the stuff leaked to him, or maybe that one dude from Yahoo Sports. What's his name? Ross Dellinger.
Yeah, Ross Dellinger. Yeah.
He's a really good writer. I should not say that one dude. That's disrespectful, but I just couldn't remember his name.
Yeah. Yeah. Dave's here saying that punishment is expected midsummer. I think they're negotiating. Yeah. TLDR. That.
Yeah. We'll see. Who knows? It'll give us something to talk about in the beginning of June or the end of June or whatever. Just don't do it around Big Ten media days. Please do it a few weeks before so it gives us something to talk about.
This is why you all need to go to our store and buy our NCAA Stink shirts, which are live now. Please buy them and tell
in the description.
Yeah. Vote the NCAA out with your t-shirts. That's my plea.
There we go. All right, Zach, we're hitting hour and a half now. And I know Philip wants us to go 2.5, but not tonight. Not tonight. So, Zach, anything else to get to before we get out of here?
Who do you got tomorrow night in the title game?
Houston. Houston was who I picked to win my bracket.
Nice. So yeah, I'm rooting for Houston. My championship game participants have been knocked out. So because I went Big Ten and I went Purdue and Michigan State over Purdue because I'm a Big Ten homer.
Yeah, well, I would like your type of optimism. So, well, me and Burke had Illinois going to the Final Four. That worked out for us. So,
nope.
Yeah.
We had. I was gonna say Ohio State was gonna go really far. Oh wait, no, they missed the tournament again.
Did you see my video today on Twitter?
I did, and I was like, I got
all the Ohio State basketball fans mad at me.
Yeah. Well, I'm not mad at you. I was just like, oh, I'm probably one of the guys that you're talking to now.
No,
Right
you're
now.
not.
Oh.
You're not. I tagged the guys I was talking about.
So, the Barstool guys or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh.
I see so many people do stuff like that where they put videos out and they like put pictures of tweets in their video and they're like, oh yeah, da 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 da, like, and they never tag anybody. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if you're gonna put somebody's tweet in your video, tag them on it. You know?
Yeah.
So I didn't tag them to like be rude to them. It's just like, look, if I'm gonna put you in my video, I'm gonna tag you. So
Yeah. That's fair.
yeah. So all right. Thank you everybody for being here. We appreciate it. We could go much longer. We will get in touch with those who are going to be on the wrestling podcast. Eric, you expect a message from me here soon. We're going to try to get Eric and Dylan and Casual Big Ten, maybe Larry, we'll see,
Yeah.
on there as well, and just talk through all the wrestling. We got our bracket set. If you want to go still vote in the bracket, you can still do so. It's linked in the description. I'll put it in the comments really fast just to have it there. Or in the
Philip just
chat
said
really fast.
NFL draft watch party. We talking about that?
Yes. Yeah, we're also planning on doing that. I need to, again, that's another one I need to line up people for. So it's April 24th. I think it starts at 8 Eastern time. I think it generally goes about 3 hours. So I think we're going to plan me and Jeff being there for all 3 hours together and then bring on people kind of like periodically. So again, Eric is somebody we'll probably try to have on. We'll try to have Zach on. I already talked to Kent. Going to try to have him on. We might have Sonny on if he can. It'll only be the first round, though. We're not going to do every single day, just the first round on Thursday night. But yeah, so people who have been on the show, if Larry can come on, we'll try to bring Larry on. It'll be like me and Jeff the whole time and bringing other people on for like 15, 20-minute segments to kind of talk through what they've seen and everything like that. So yeah. Link is in there for the wrestling ratings. Please do that if you've not done that yet. And that's all we got. So, Zach, thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Happy to be here.
All right.
So
we'll see everybody. Have a good one. See you Tuesday night. I don't know what we're talking about yet. We'll figure it out. See you.